Here we are on day 2 of section 4.3. I'm going to do 5 examples for you. Let's start with number 7. Find how many quarts of 4% buttermilk and 1% buttermilk should be mixed together to get 60 quarts of 2% buttermilk. Well, our first step is always to define the variable. So I'm going to say x is the number of quarts of 4% buttermilk, and y is the number of quarts of 1% buttermilk. My first equation, because we're going to have 60 quarts total, is the number of quarts of 4% plus the number of quarts of 1% has to equal 60 quarts. The other equation that we're going to use is the same equation with all the percents in it. So 4% x plus 1% y equals 60 times 2%. Oops, not 20, 2%. So now if I change my percents into a decimal, I get 0.04x plus 0.01y equals 2% of 60 gives me 3. Let's multiply my top equation by negative 0.01. If I do that, I'm going to get negative 0.01y to go along with the positive 0.01y, and then they'll go away. So let's multiply. I get negative 0.01x minus 0.01y equals 0.6. And simplify, I get 0.03x equals, this would be a minus, right? 2.4. 1.2, negative 1.2. That's right. And so when I subtract, I get 1.8. Dividing by 0.03 on both sides, I get my x has to be 20. So we know that we're going to have 20 quarts of 4%. The other side is to find my y. So if I put 20 in here, 20 plus what equals 60? 20 plus y equals 60. So y has to equal 40. So it's 40 quarts of 1%. Let's take a look at question number 9 now. Question number 9 says, in 2005, the United Kingdom was the most popular host country in which U.S. students travel abroad studied. Italy was the second most popular. So I'm going to have my variable u stand for the UK, and I stand for the number of students going to Italy. The total is 56,929. So number of UK students plus the number of Italy students equals 56,929. And one of the two countries, if 7,213 more students studied in the UK than Italy, find the number of students that studied abroad in each country. So if this many more lived in the UK while they studied, we would add that amount to Italy to make them equal. Again, this looks like an opportunity to use substitution, so I'm going to put Italy plus 7213 plus Italy equals 56,929, and I get 2I plus 7213. Going to need a little help here doing some subtraction here. 2I equals 49,726 or 716. If I divide by 2, Italy would be 24,858 students. If I plug that back in here, I would get the UK plus 24,858 equals 56,929. Subtract, and I get the number of UK students is 32,071. Let's now take a look at number 11. Number 11 says, Karen Carlin bought some large frames for $15. So a large frame equals $15. Well, let's say large frame. And small frames cost $8. And at a closeout sale, if she bought 22 frames and it cost $239, find how many of each. Well, this is kind of like a mixture problem. We know that the large frames plus the small frames equals 22 of them. How much is the cost of a large frame? $15. The cost of the small frame is $8, and the total cost was $239. So there's your two equations, two unknowns. Let's multiply the top equation by a -8. So I get -8L minus 8S equals -176. Add the two equations together, I get 7L equals 36. So the large frames must have been 9 of them. So 9 of them plus S would give me 22. Minus the 9, I get S must have been 13 small frames. Let's move on to question number 19. It says a Piper airplane and a B-57 airplane cross each other at different altitudes, traveling in the opposite directions. So this is just like the stuff we did yesterday. Here's the B-737, and here is the Piper. Remember, if it's a rate times time equals distance question, we make a table. Rate times time equals distance. And it says the B-57 travels 5 times the speed of the Piper. So if the Piper is x, the B-737 is 5x. In 4 hours, so my time is 4 hours, they are that far apart. So let's find the distances, add them together, and we will get 2,160. So this one's 20x. And this one is 4x. So since they're going in opposite directions, we would add them together. If they go the same direction, we would subtract them. So 20x plus 4x equals 2160. And I get x, or 24x equals 2160. And if I divide by 24, divide by 24, I get x equals 90. If x equals 90, the Piper is flying at 90 miles per hour. 5 times that gives me 450 miles per hour for the B-737. The last question that we're going to do today, this was number 19. The last question we're going to do today is question 25. 25. Hertz Rental Car Agency charges $25 a day, $25 a day plus 10 cents per mile. Budget charges $20 a day plus 25 cents per mile. That's the cost. Find the daily mileage for which budget charge for the day is twice that of hertz. So budget is twice of hertz. So if I multiply hertz by 2, then they would be equal. So if I take this, move that in there. All right. So if the cost of this, twice the cost of this one is equal to that one, we could set them equal to each other. 2 times $25 plus 10 cents per mile. We're looking for when they're equal to each other, or cost that one is twice. So 20 plus 0.25 m. Simplify, I get 50 plus 0.2 miles equals 20 plus 0.25 per mile. Subtract 0.2, subtract 0.2, and I get 50 equals 20 plus 0.05 m minus the 20, minus the 20, 30 equals 0.05 m, divide by 0.05 m, divide by 0.05, oops, not m, just 0.05, and I get 600 miles. There we go.